amazing internet skills that we've not yet acquired, but we're learning quickly, so we appreciate you as well. So we're going to kick it off. We're going to assume that not everybody knows everybody, and we're going to kick it off with some introductions. We've got 4 of our municipal mayors here, and we're going to let Mayor Scott Reeves of Hokes Bluff introduce himself first.
Okay, I'm Scott Reeves, of course, Mayor of Hokes Bluff, and I was first introduced to local government, city government in 2014. I was appointed on the city council when my dad passed away as mayor. And after 2 years on city council, I ran for mayor and was elected and have served 1 term as mayor of Hokes Bluff. And it's truly an honor to serve our people in the city of Hokes Bluff, and had a great council the first 4 years, a good team to work with, and got 2 new council members this year as we head into the next 4 years, and excited about it. And we got some good things going out in Hokes Bluff, and I'll share that with you just in a few minutes. But
that's great.
Honored to be a servant for our town.
Thank you, Mayor Reeves. I do have one question for you. How many pairs of green jeans do you have?
Just 1 pair.
Just one? They're phenomenal.
And green shorts.
I bet you bleed green, don't you?
I got a lot of green shirts on in my closet.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Okay.
Next, we have newly elected Mayor Dana Snyder of Southside.
Dana Snyder. I was first introduced to municipal government in 2009, working with the City of Gadsden Legal Department. In 2016, was elected to the City Council, and in 2019 decided to run for mayor of our hometown. And we've got a really good council that was elected this time, and we're looking forward to working together as a team and improving some things in our city. And I guess we'll discuss that a little later. But looking forward to doing that and working with all the other mayors and elected officials in our county.
Thank you, Mayor Snyder. Next, we have Mayor Chris Haref of Glencoe.
Yes, I'm Chris Haref, Mayor of City of Glencoe. I have basically, when I was introduced as an employee, I worked for the city for 2 years, and then on to the waterworks for 5 years. Served as the the chief for 16 years before retiring, and I've been a council member for 4 years, from 16 to 20, and then chose to run for the mayor's office. So we do have 3 new guys on the council, and got a great council to work with. Got a lot of great things going on, and also I'm very blessed to serve the city of Glencoe.
Thank you so much, Mayor Hare. And last but not least, we have Mayor Joe Taylor of Rainbow City.
Yeah, I'm Joe Taylor. I'm the mayor of Rainbow City. I'm not like these other guys. I don't have a lot of experience in government, except as an employee. I was a 25-year firefighter for the city of Gadsden. Previous to that, I was a 17-year veteran of the military, United States Army, and finished my time in the National Guard and the Reserves. For 35 years, I've been a businessman here in Etowah County. I've owned several different businesses, the most of which was Landcrafters Incorporated, and I've done work just all over the state of Alabama and parts of Georgia. I've decided to run for mayor for, I guess, the same reason that we all, kind of go into government, and that is that I felt like I could serve my community and give back to an area that's given so much to me. Being the mayor of Rainbow City we are a nice sized city. We're a pocket of growth, and we have neighbors on both sides, or on 3 sides of us that connect borders, and we're excited about becoming a very cooperative city with other areas. So.
Thank you so much, Mayor Taylor. Let's talk about some exciting things that you guys have going on. And folks, those of you that are on through the Advanced Etowah page, don't worry, we are going to talk about the rendering plant. But we've got a captive audience right now, and we have so many good things going on throughout our county that it's a wonderful opportunity. And I want each of you to share with our audience, what do you have going on in each of your municipalities? What are the cool things that are happening? What are your plans? What would you like for everybody to know? And how can people get involved to help you? So let's start with Mayor Reeves.
I was hoping you were gonna go in reverse order. That's okay. I made me some notes on my phone. I didn't want to leave anything out, so I might look at my phone maybe more than I look at the screen. But with the new year starting, we back several years ago, my dad worked real close with Linda Barrett Bond on bringing a satellite tag office to Oaks Bluff, and it's in our library, and that has really been an asset to our city. It's increased our foot traffic, in town. People that's kind of complain about the long lines at the courthouse. It's an avenue to where they can come out and get their tag work done and title work and whatnot. And it's opened back up. Their hours are 8:30 to 4, and the girls go to lunch. The county employees go to lunch from 11 to 12, and it's really been an asset for our city. Some of you may not know, our elementary school has been in Oaks Bluff since 1942. It burned actually before that, and then they rebuilt it. And 41 or 42, we're getting a brand new elementary school this year, and that's a huge project for our city, for our town. I think I talked to Dr. Cosby just the other day. Groundbreaking is going to be sometime when school is out this coming spring. So we're excited about that. I want to thank Dr. Cosby and him being our Etowah County School Superintendent, Mr. Tim Langdale, our board member there from Oaks Bluff, and the rest of the board members for seeing that project to come to fruition. It's been a long-awaited school, and I know our teachers are excited about it, and our kids are excited about it, and we're glad that's coming. We've just purchased a new fire apparatus, a new fire truck, and I'm sure Mayor Taylor is very well aware of what those things cost. They're not just several $1,000s. They're like $750,000. And we just purchased a new one. It should be coming. Our guys are going to fly up to Wisconsin and look at it here in the next few weeks. So hopefully by February, sometime in that neighborhood, we'll be getting our new fire truck. Also, we have every year the triathlon that we put together several years ago. I believe we skipped this year on account of COVID, and I believe this will be our 8th year to have the triathlon. It'll be in April, the 3rd Saturday in April. Hopefully this year youth baseball can get kicked off. That's the largest concentration of people that gather in Oaks Bluff each year is when our baseball fields for our youth, gets fired up, and they come together, and it's an important time as far as economic footprint in our city with everybody going to eat and so forth. Oak Bluff City Fest, we're already in the early stages of making plans for that. We didn't get to have that last year as well, and this year we're hoping we can. We're already signing on entertainers, and and our contracting with them. Preparations are being made to hopefully have that event this year. It'll have its usual date, which is the 4th Saturday in September, and it starts off with a car show hosted by Big Oak Garage. We'll have vendors, arts and crafts, foods, entertainers, and from local entertainers all the way to Nashville. And it's always a fun time for family and friends to come together. And without we get a lot of sponsorship from local community, local businesses and businesses here throughout Gadsden that help us. Without them, we couldn't put it on. So we appreciate what they do for us. And just this year, we were able to bring most of you old enough to remember the Alice Chalmers plant here in Gadsden that shut down years ago. We were able to bring the G Roundup Tractor Show, the Alice Chalmers Tractor Show to Oaks Bluff, and it looks like it's going to start to be a every year thing. I believe it's the 2nd Saturday in October. So we'll have that again this year, and here my phone jumped off of something. After that, we have our annual Christmas parade at the end of the year, which we was able to have at this time. It's on the 2nd Saturday in December, and for a small town, we always have great participation. We'll have as many sometimes as 50 participants in the parade, and have a good turnout along the streets on Main Street from the elementary school down to Offers Bend over to the pool area where the pool softball fields are, and it's always a good turnout. Everybody's always excited to be at it. So that's pretty much what we got going. We do have a new business that has contacted us in Oaks Bluff about wanting to locate out there across the 4-lane of the shopping center. I can't release any details on it right now. We got to talk about it at our next council meeting. So, it's always hard to tell a new business no, You always got concerns about it, like what we're gonna talk about probably after a while when we get out of the kitchen and get in the frying pan. So, anyway, we're excited about things in Hopes Bluff and the way it's headed. And, again, it's just a great community to serve in, and I'm honored to be just to serve it for our city. So, that's about all I have. Hope I didn't take up too much time.
No, not at all.
I'm seeing. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna turn this up just a hair.
Was I not loud enough?
You are my
We want to be perfect.
trying to. The people of the internet. They have these demands, and you've got to work to meet their demands. So, all right.
Well, that was a phenomenal update, and again, this is going to be recorded. So if you missed any of it, you need to go back and listen to it again with maybe some loudspeakers turned up. That'll be published and out there and available. So Mayor Snyder, tell us a little bit about what you got going on.
Well, we've had 3 new council members elected, and we have all gotten on the same page during our platform. We kind of all wanted to put out and do the same kind of things and see our city go in the same direction. So we're working together on that right now. We authorized the application for a USDA loan to start our fire hall. So we're excited about that, and working on that right now, working with an architect to get that done. We also want to get a lot more of community involvement. So we started that off in December when we had our Christmas with Santa and our Christmas tree lighting, and we grouped those together and had a pretty good turnout. We had some vendors that we invited this time, food vendors. We had the high school band participate in that. We had a big turnout with COVID and everything. Everybody was spread out. I was actually quarantined at the time and had to watch from across the street, but it was really good, and it was the start of something that we think is going to carry on and grow in the future. So we have a lot of other things that we plan to work on as far as events and involving the community for the rest of the time this year. We haven't discussed many of those, but a lot of the council members have some great ideas, and we're looking forward to doing some more events and getting more community involvement that way. With the start of a fire hall is going to allow our police department to have a little bit more room. So eventually, in the next year and a half, 2 years, we plan on expanding that police department and giving them some more room to work. I would like to also include our street department on that. They work out of a metal building with very old, ragged furniture, hardly any air conditioning or heat. And they're part of our public safety too, so we want to see something done for our street department. Short-term, long-term, within the next 4 years, we plan on doing that, doing a remodel on our police department giving them some more room, doing a new building or something for our street department, and then of course the fire department. And I hope everybody's excited about that, because hopefully in the next year and with our next budget and budgets after that, we'll be able to start hiring some part-time firemen to fully staff our fire department. We've got a lot of people wanting to move there. I mean, we're the loveliest city on the coast, I think. and we've always been a bedroom community, so we have a lot of people wanting to move their bedrooms to Southside. So we need to provide them with top-notch service. So we've got a lot of things lined up, a lot of things that we're going to discuss. We have our famous river property. We're having a work session on that next week on the 14th, and we'll be discussing some things, kind of hashing out what we want to do down there. But I think the most important thing is getting it open and useful, being able to have some small events down there. I've had some fishing tournaments contact me already for the spring. Hopefully we can get it up and running by the end so that we can do those fishing tournaments, maybe incorporate some food trucks down there on the weekends, different events like that. So yeah, we're looking forward to a lot of good things coming. And everybody says, oh, just take your first term and get things kind of like you want it, and then start doing some things your second term. And that's not how I work. That is not how I work. So we want to get in there and we want to get it done, and we want to do it as soon as possible. There's also some things that we need to do inside City Hall to have our employees be able to work more efficient. Some are doing some things manually that needs to be, we need to update our programs. We need to update our microphones and video equipment because we're doing a lot of Facebook Live now with our council meetings. So trying to be a little more transparent. I've hired an assistant who is also going to do some marketing for our city to try and recruit business and people to come to our city and eat or come to events or whatever. She's doing a really good job with our website right now, with our social media, with our Facebook. She's going to start a Twitter page soon, also for the city. We've had so much more traffic on our social media and website. It's unbelievable in the first week. I will say another thing that we did this year, we had somebody contact us about a Christmas boat parade that used to be put on up here in Gadsden. They wanted to bring it back to Southside Rainbow City. She put that out on social media, and we had, I can't even remember how many shares, hundreds, and maybe over 600 shares of that. We had people from different counties who came. Sad to say, we only had 7 boats show up. A lot of people had already winterized their boats, couldn't participate in it, but I think it'll grow into something big next year, something that we can also have food trucks and things like that down on the river property for that. We had over 200 spectators show up.
That's wonderful.
So, there was probably some people disappointed, but for the most part, it was a massive turnout for that. So we're real excited.
Now everybody knows, save your boat, don't winterize it yet, wait till after Christmas.
Yeah, and it was kind of a last minute deal. We had about a week to put that out there, maybe 2 at the most. So if we'd have had a little more time and maybe they had known before they winterized their boats, it would have been a lot better. And I think that working with Rainbow City on that, I think we can really do something good with that down there next year.
Yeah, you'll end up with one of those nice 70-degree days too in December that everybody will be like, let's get on a boat.
Yeah, we're looking forward to working with our neighboring city and every city in the county. And our neighboring counties, Calhoun County especially. So, anyway, a lot of good things to come.
That sounds great. Thank you so much, Mayor Snyder. Mayor Hare, tell us about Glencoe.
Well, I'm gonna have to ramp it up. It's getting bigger as the pile goes. Well, our city's been noted as the city of patriotism, and that's something that we take pride in. As you come through the cities, on our days that we have our flags out. So the citizens take pride in that. I know our veterans do, and also our guys that take care of our media and stuff like that. So we kind of thrive off of that when we go back to our schools, and our schools are really the heart and soul of our city. We got a lot of great businesses. So we kind of tend to, like Mayor Reeves was talking about, missing a basketball game. Football's big in our area, so we tend to support our athletes and our schools more, just because that's what our community loves to do. So our previous council 2 years ago, we built a new city hall for the same deal that Ms. Snyder's talking about, to attract businesses, stuff like that they would be coming into our city and they would see, an up-to-date modern facility. Our public safety building sits right beside it. Just things that has been put on the front as far as that. For the face of Glencoe, we're trying to make things a lot better in the aspects of attracting business. So we have stuff that's kind of on the table. A lot of people is interested in, there's a lot of movement. Anywhere you go, there's a lot of movement. There's people that's wanting to move businesses around from town to town. So we're definitely in the hunt for new business, and we got a lot of stuff to offer as what a lot of businesses would like to have to see. We got 4-lane highway, we have railroad access, we've got, any kind of amendments for water and sewer, stuff like that capability. So we're kind of generated to, with the new council, it's the same way. We're kind of fresh, we're ready to go, hit the ground running, trying to build our city. We accepted what it has been in the years coming into this term for 21 to go forward, that we would like to move it forward from where it's at now. So our fire department has grown also. It's a complete volunteer. We have 3 paid medics that works for us during the day, 8 hours a day, 1 per shift. We have a new pumper that's in place, was put in service 2 months ago. That's an all volunteer status deal. I think they tallied the numbers for a small town like us with 5,200 people. We turned 875 calls. That's pretty high for our volume. So that's something that our volunteers, they really answer for that on us. That's what we've been blessed with. Just mainly the new council, as far as the new guys that's coming in, they've got a lot of fire to see things happen and get stronger and get things going. Kind of like Ms. Snyder said, we're not going to wait 4 years before we do anything. Those guys they're on go right now. So we do have businesses that's contacted wanting to talk about things that we could attract them to our city. So like I said, it's something different for us as a new, especially me as a new mayor. So just looking forward, me and Mr. Reeves has talked about things that's happening up and down 278. We have businesses that's over there now being built, and so just all of us working together. That would be a kind of not a new thing, but it'd be fresh for all of us, our cities, Etowah County in general. I mean, I know Mayor Reeves on one side, Ms. Snyder's on the other side, and storms, worked well together with storms, worked well during the year, employees backwards and forwards, getting equipment, stuff like that. We've always tried to help, and that's what, we've been blessed with the revenue to have the nicer equipment that we have for our guys now. So it's just, we like working together with other people, with our neighbors. Great staff. The ladies in the office is phenomenal about the things, how they handle things. The street department guys is always willing to take any of the problems that the city employee or the citizens have and take care of those. So a great staff throughout our whole city, and we're very fortunate for that. So looking forward for the future, that's for sure.
That sounds great. Thank you so much, Mayor Haref. Mayor Taylor, what do you have in Rainbow City?
Well, I guess if I went by just talking about my city, of course, we're a city of about 10,000 people. We're sitting on the Coosa. We feel like we're a proud member of the Coosa group, and that's cities that touch the Coosa. And like I said before, we sit bordering 3 other cities. So we're, like Chris said, we're in a cooperative position to be able to help during storms and different things like that. We have 2 schools in our city, and then we also have a private school in Westbrook. But we have John Jones Elementary School, which has just been named a Blue Ribbon School, one of about 148 or 49, I think it is, Blue Ribbon schools for academics and achievement inside our elementary school nationally. This is the 2nd award that they've gotten, and that'll be, I think that ceremony for giving out that blue ribbon is going to be somewhere around the 15th or so, and I'm sure that'll be on social media. We have Rainbow Middle School. We're proud of our middle school. We have really good parks and recreation in Rainbow City, and we're the future home within a few months of a mega sports complex that's going to be bringing travel ball opportunity and economic growth into our city. We have a full-time police department, of course, but we also have a full-time fire department. We have a professional fire department that's represents our city quite well. I mean, they're a high-volume fire department. We have really good equipment. I have to go back to our previous mayor who left our city in a really, really good financial position. Terry John Calhoun did an incredible job, and for 16 years, a 16-year incumbent, coming off the tail of Sue Glidewell those are big shoes to fill. I know that I think I'm the 5th mayor of Rainbow City, and one of those mayors I think was a short-term mayor to fill in an interim position. So, like the 4th mayor, and that's a pretty awesome responsibility, and I don't take that lightly. We have a really great. All of our departments are great. We have 103 employees, which makes us one of the largest employers in Rainbow City, and our associates are great. I mean, they love our city. We have a recycling program that we're very proud of that we want to expand. As far as on our economic growth, we're wanting to develop, and a part of our council, which is 4 new council members that were newly elected, and then we have a council member that was a previous council member, and Anita Bedwell. We have Jeff Prince, Jameson Jenkins, Randy Weiss, and Clark Hopper. All of these are very involved council members that are helping me to put together a long-term vision for our city. We want to develop a true master plan, an overlay of our city of where we want to go. My council and my office, we intend to look at developing a new city center for Rainbow City, which would be a long-term growth process. We know that when I came into office, of course, the first thing that I was faced with is the thing that we're going to talk about later, and because of that, it has starved me and my staff a little bit of time, and that's fine. That's our job, is to solve problems, and we're in the. Huh?
Why we get paid the big dollars.
That's why they get paid the big dollars. That's right. And so we've got an opportunity ahead of us to be able to not only put our cities together, but I think we have an opportunity to promote our area. We're the smallest county in Etowah, or in Alabama. Etowah County is by land mass, and but I think and it's arguable depending on which page you get on. We're either 9th, 10th, or 11th in population per square mile and population density of about 190 people per square mile. That's a pretty tall number, and I think that's what brings about us having to become very selective, not in the sense of running anyone off, but being very selective in maintaining our community and then our commerce. I think that a lot of times we tend to get our growth out ahead of what we base our communities on, which is the people. And so in our case, having 3 schools in our area, that's my first priority, is our students and the safety of them. We are a safe city. That comes about from having an incredible police department that's led by John Bryant, our police chief. We just have we're positioned right now for true growth. You'll hear people say things like Rainbow City is going to be the Oxford to the Anniston. What is to Anniston, and I believe it's a little bit different than that. I think because we're so connected in border, I think that what we're going to become is almost a quint city, where there are 5 connected cities that are that really can just get it all done. But that really takes dropping back in some different motives. We have to start pushing our cities out, not out ahead of each other, but just out as a front. And I think that's what you're going to see out of this group. One thing that that we've been told all along during my campaign was that people wanted to see transparency, and and there's a point where transparency just becomes the norm, and that's what I want my office to become. It's just a very open door policy that's truly open door, and that I can hear you talk, hear you speak, and not just wait to listen. Or I'm listening to you. I'm not just waiting for you to stop talking. And I think that's what we're going to do. We just have so many things going for us right now that we really just don't want to throw a speed bump in the way. We're working on 2 major road projects right now. We have about in the millions of dollars worth of upcoming development and expansion in our industrial parks, and those are the things that we're working on right now. Some of this has put a little bit of that on hold, but we have a commercial development board that is working hard to bring in some commercial development for our city, and that's going very well. My office is trying to make sure that we make board appointments, that are appropriate to our times. We have ample amount of volunteers. I've heard it said, even on Facebook that we can't get volunteers on boards. I don't have any problem with that. I have people that are volunteering their time and saying, "You tell me what you need, Joe," and that's not only good, but it's humbling to know that people are out there that say that they will they'll just step up and do whatever you ask them to do, and that's not unusual at all. So it's an exciting time in Rainbow City, incredibly exciting, and we just did our Christmas tree lighting, and we had a visionary in Sue Glidewell that built us a city hall that is now beginning to fit our city. I'm sure a lot of people thought, that she was out there. Come to find out, that lady, she had 30, 40, 50-year plans inside her head, which when you speak to her, and I know most of you have, she's an incredible person, and I've been able to go to her and hear her talk about how she set up Rainbow City, for the future and for our growth and to be successful. That's what she wants from it. And so it's just a great time in Rainbow City.
Thank you so much, Mayor Taylor.
Let me jump in and take a quick stab at all of our folks online, guys. I'm starting to see a few questions in here, but quit asking questions over where is the mayor of Gadsden. I know the emotional frustration. I get it. But we got a great opportunity to have some good discussion right here with who did show up. So sorry if my tone is a little pointed, but guys, let's get some good questions. I'm starting to see some stuff roll in, so I'll turn it back over to you, Heather.
Sure, and I will just state that we did invite all mayors of cities. I did not get down to towns and townships. I will say that connecting with some of our outlying mayors, and I did miss Sardis. I apologize for that. I know I can count on Mayor Reese. He can get me connected to some of our outlying. But I'm from Altoona, so trust me when I say I would have loved to have had Altoona tonight. But over the holidays and with us being part-time offices, we weren't able to make a good connection there. But we did invite all of our city mayors. I did speak with Larry Means of Etowah. He is out of town tonight and could not participate and sends his regrets. But I agree with Michael. We've got an opportunity to hear from 4 wonderful leaders in our community, and I think that what they have to say is really important, and I hope that you all find value. And Michael said we were going to get 45 minutes into this in no time at all, and he was not kidding, because we are about 45 minutes into this. So with your permission, let's jump into the hot issue at hand right now. And Scott, I will reverse order for you. Let me.
Michael, we got a video stop online.
So,
Have
so
we
we're
frozen?
going, we're going from the Garden of Eden to the Lion's Den.
We're gonna keep it PG. Don't worry.
Let me take a look and see. Sorry.
It's our incredible internet,
See,
probably.
it's back.
I'm gonna disconnect and see if my.
Well, if everybody's robbing the internet from me,
I've already disconnected my phone.
I see a question.
Is that what's happening?
So
Yeah,
it says back. Then now.
I'm on it.
yeah, if you don't mind, let's. I did see a couple of questions, and they're not softballs. So if you're seeing Hugh's question in there, will Hoax Bluff City Council pass a resolution? Have y'all talked about that at all?
We, our next council meeting is, let's see, what's today? The,
So it's a fifth.
fifth. Okay, our next council meeting is, January the 12th, second Tuesday. We meet on the second, fourth Tuesdays of the month at 6 o'clock. And, we have a pre-council 6. We go into regular council meeting as soon as it's over. We probably will talk about that at our next council meeting. Of course, it'll be entirely up to our 5 councilmen if we pass a resolution against it or not. We're kind of the furthest away from this current event or new business, coming to Gadsden, and not to say we're not interested in it. I want what's best for the city of Gadsden. I want what's best for the surrounding residents. If they're going to be greatly affected by it, there's 2 sides to look at. I'd been thinking the last few days about it. I don't know much about a rendering plan. I'll be honest with you. I'm a 33 year plus guy without my power, and climbed poles most all my life. And I've been on a lot of storm damage trips and whatnot, but I don't know much about a rendering plant. I hear everybody talk about the stench, the stink, the pollution, the air pollution, maybe the water pollution, whatever. I'll be honest with you, I don't know much about it, but I tend to want to see both sides. Gadsden, we've took a hit since way before, before I was even a kid. We lost Alice Chalmers, I was talking about a while ago. We lost Marita Bakery. We lost the steel plant. We've lost Goodyear. And I know Gadsden is kind of on the offensive to try to bring jobs and revenues, into Etowah County. And I see that side. Then I see the side that Mayor Taylor and maybe Mayor Dana here, Dana Snyder from Southside. I see their point. What I wanted in my front door, that's another angle to look at. What I wanted by my business, down on Steel Station Road. I don't know. I can't make that call. I was elected to take care of Hoax Bluff, but I do want us all to work together and find common ground on what we can do. But I was kind of thinking the other day, I talked to our football coach quite a bit, and I was recruited a little bit to play college football, believe it or not. But it's kind of like if I can paint this picture, they're in practice, whether it's a high school coach or a college coach. He's in one-on-one drills. He's got 2 linemen sitting there. One's on offense, one's on defense. He's trying to get the offensive lineman to do his job and whip the defensive guy, and at the same time, he's trying to get the defensive lineman to whip the offensive lineman. I see Gadsden as being offense, and the rest of us being maybe on defense. And you're trying to come to common ground right there, and it's maybe a tug of war, and it's a hard call for us in Hoax Bluff to make. But I don't know. It's a difficult decision, but I want to hear what Mayor Taylor's got to say here in a little bit, and Mayor Snyder, and Mayor Haref. But we do plan on talking about it at our next council meeting, and we'll see what our guys has to say if we pass a resolution or not.
And that's exactly what you have to do. You've got a council that you're obligated to work with, and I would very much respect that.
Yes.
I guess I just tag on to what Scott was saying. In Rainbow City, I think I may have been the first elected official to come out against this. I know we weren't the first person to draft a resolution against it. My council did come together and say that we were in opposition of this rendering plan. Mine came down to 3 very simple things, and I call it the 3 C's. It was children first, because we do have so many students that are covered under inside that radius that we all continue to talk about. But inside that little concentric circle is the most precious things that we have in Rainbow City, and that's our children. The second thing was that we're talking about our community, and that is that not only in growth, but just in the quality of life of our community. And then the third C is commerce. Well, I've said this a million times since this started, but if we take care of number one and number two, number three will take care of itself. Now, to not believe that, I think is actually shortchanging ourselves. It's to make ourselves not be so smart, you know. And I actually believe that this area is obviously different. And I'm not talking about Rainbow City. I'm talking about Etowah County. You know, we're a reasonably affluent county, and but then we can get into class warfare and all those different things. But if we look at what the residents of Southside and Rainbow City, Glencoe, Hopes Bluff, Reese City, Etowah bring into Gadsden, this is not a time for us to find a division. That division has been created for us, because like what Scott says, he's here to represent Hopes Bluff. I'm here to represent the 9,500 citizens in Rainbow City. And to do that, I have to go after what their desire is, and that's their quality of life, and that's the protection of their children, and that's their protection of their livelihood. And and I don't think there's any way to do that except to do this in opposition. I went to the city council, of Gadsden, which is a very, very touchy situation. I understand decorum. I believe in respect. I'm not a rude man, and because of that, I have to tiptoe into their council meeting and say to them, I know this is unusual for another mayor to come into a city in opposition of what you have plans for, but I have to oppose that. If not, I can't go on. I can't represent the people that asked me to step up and go to City Hall on their behalf, and I refused to, for whatever that cost me. I ran with a term limit on myself, and that is that when people walk into my office and tell me it's time for me to go, I'll go. They haven't done it yet, but I know my time's coming. I know that there's a time coming that I'll be dealing with a very controversial issue of some sort, and I can't make everyone happy. But right now, this opposition page in and of itself proves that my people want a solution. The only solution that can be given to them that will satisfy them is for this rendering plant not to come. In speaking with the Gadsden City Council, I did say Rainbow City will come up and lock arms with you, and we'll find you those jobs that you desperately need. And there's no doubt the impact that Goodyear had. I was a contractor for Goodyear for 34 years. I understand what happened over there, and I understand how bad that was for this community if we only take it as Gadsden. But when you expand that out, Goodyear affected this whole county. This is affecting this whole county, and it is our job to stand as watchmen and watchwomen for our area. And that's what I intend to do. And I think that let's just go to the 3 C's: children, community, commerce. 1 and 2 is taken care of. Number 3 will take care of itself.
Mayor's here in Snyder. Who would like to go to next?
I was personally called and asked to back off of this opposition, and which ticked me off. I had sent emails to all of the council members in Gadsden, and I did not get a reply from any of them. But I did get a phone call, and and this person was trying to convince me that if they could change, convince me that this was going to be good for the area, would I back off? And my comment was, you don't have to convince me of anything. You need to convince everybody in this county that it's opposing this right now. And everybody in our area that I know of, there's nobody in Southside that is for this rendering plant. And they have businesses in Gadsden, Rainbow City, Etowah. We have businesses right across the bridge there in Southside that could be affected by it. We have children who go to Rainbow Middle School, you know, probably several that go to Westbrook. So there's, like Mayor Taylor said, there's children involved, and we're in total opposition to it. And I don't think there's anything that will change my mind.
Thank you. Mayor Haref, anything you would like to add?
I'm kind of falling in the same boat as Mr. Reeves there. Our first council meeting comes up January 12th. We do have a resolution printed for everyone to sign, so we could, if everybody agrees to it, that's what we would do. And same way, it's done by the vote of the mayor and council. So I've been living on the east side. We're gonna call it the east side. All these years from a young man's perspective. We have a poultry processing plant on our side, the east side, what you want to call it. So I remember in the days of being young that people always talked about the smell and everything, you know, and that's kind of goes not hand in hand because it's a lot worse, but through the years of kind of the, I don't know what you'd say, the innovations of stuff, them building and making things better, that has went away. But years ago, the neighbors around that place would always talk about it. Like I said, I don't know, never been involved much with what they had to deal with or anything like that, but it's just one of those kind of takes that it's kind of tough for a municipality to deal with the interest of what's at stake there. It's going to be quite an undertaking for both sides. So,
well, just talking about that area, I grew up in East Gadsden, and I remember riding my bicycle. Now, that's a long time ago. As a child, as a young man or young boy, down College Parkway, and you know, you get down to where that live kill plant, that processing plant is, and it did have the smell and all of that, and innovations and scrubbers and RTOs and all these different things, this state of the art stuff that's being proposed by the company that's wanting to build this rendering plant. You know, all of that stuff being put in place. We're talking about 45 years ago or so that plant was built. And I'm not necessarily going against the science of this thing. I'm just saying that there's a stigma that comes with this. And that stigma is there's a proving ground over on the east side in East Gadsden and around the I guess it'd be the west side of your city. And that is that there's a 4-lane highway there with commercial property on both sides, and the same number of businesses are there that were there 40 years ago. It can't move. So what's our plan? Is our plan to stigmatize our airport, which is a vital part of Etowah County? Is our plan to stigmatize commercial growth? Is it to stigmatize retail growth? Well, I can promise you that we have a proving ground in Etowah County. We don't have to all get in a big group hug here, but we do have to look at the truth. And the truth of the matter is that over 40 years ago, a live kill poultry processing plant, which is in no way going to have the emission problems, the environmental impact that this plant will or can have, not only on the location, but on the streets to travel into this. If we don't begin to look at the stigma that they're willing to create in our area and stifle the growth of Rainbow City, Southside, Etowah, Gadsden, Steele. I mean, we can get down into our other counties. And the biggest thing is, if we're going to talk about one of our vestiges of hope, it's our airport. We know that that airport can become an absolute jewel in this area. And our inability to look at what aviation brings in long-term growth and progress, I think we're fooling ourselves to think that this is, I made the statement over and over again that we talk about this thing being state of the art. Well, that sounds wonderful. This phone's state of the art, and when it breaks, it breaks. And you have to go get another one. We can't have that in our city. We can't have it in our city that, we don't release but so many pounds of particulate matter per year, and that's basically chicken grease that's going to land on the playgrounds of our city where our children play. If we're going to say that we're okay with that, then we have to look at what's going to happen when this plant comes to its life's end, when it breaks. And it's going to break. If you just read, and I encourage people to read the 8M permits that they're asking for. They're saying we're going to have outage time. That means it broke. That means it's not working the way it's intended to work. So at the point that anything that we have, any car that we travel here, gets into the point of disrepair, we have to pull over and fix it. The only problem is when that happens, it happens to us. When this happens, it happens to every one of us. There's a big difference there. And I think that's what drives the passion of this group. That's what drives the passion of our people. I've had over 700 calls. Those are not duplicate calls. Over 700 calls that told me, Joe, please don't let this happen. Now, people don't normally do that. I had less calls during a 9-month-long campaign than I had over this one subject. And I think it's time for our brothers at Gadsden City Hall and for Mayor Guy, I pled with him. I said, I'm begging you not to do this. And I'm asking them again now, stop this. Because that's all we need to do. And I promise you the growth of this area. If you look at all of the economic impact studies that can be written, every one of them will come back to this area being so close, so tight, so well infrastructured, so well driven. We have great education. We have great higher education. We have all of the nuts and bolts to put together an incredible machine. We just got to put the machine together. And I don't think a knee-jerk reaction, and please don't take this the wrong way, to a plant closing that's not enough for me to sell the soul of my city. And I refuse to do that.
And I talked about recruiting business Southside during my campaign, but recruiting the right business.
That's right.
The right business. Whether it takes, longer to get the right business there or not, recruiting the right business. And this is not the right business, Etowah County.
And a lot of the economic development, professional development training that I've been in, they stress there's a difference between attracting jobs and attractive jobs.
Right.
Now, this could be a very attractive job to a particular community. I know a lot of comparisons have been drawn to Prestige Farms in Eagle Grove, Iowa, where it brought 1,000 jobs to a community of 3,400. That is an attractive job for that community. I think that's a very fair statement. That does look like prosperity. But there is a big discrepancy between that project and the project that we're looking at here. So I know we're getting close on time. We're at 7:36. I do have one question I wanted to ask.
Before you do that, I brought this question up. You were talking about the airport, and I wanted to not necessarily just everybody is talking about the environmental impacts, the smell, and all that kind of stuff. The airport's near and dear to my heart. I just kind of, how much do you guys in your various communities, how do you look at the airport and what it does? How much have you thought about it? And it's okay, because I know there's a ton of people in our community that don't think anything about the airport. And that has really reared its head. So even if the rendering plant doesn't smell, it doesn't break, it's 100% perfect, it has nothing to do with aviation. We're taking prime property on the airport. If y'all could just take a minute and just kind of share your thoughts Because it's not, and I'll inject my own opinion here clearly, it's not Gadsden's airport, it's the entire community's airport because aviation impacts so many other people.
I may have been one of the first paratroopers to ever jump on the drop zone at the Gadsden Airport. I think it's named after a KIA, Mr. Osborne, Sergeant Osborne, that was in the 20 Special Forces, and another guy, and I'm so sorry that I don't remember his name. I knew back then what the impact of that airport could be. Now this is years and years, maybe 30 or so years ago, but when you fly over that airport, there's all of a sudden some impact. You start understanding what it is, what it can be, where it's located, understanding all of those things and seeing that from the air is something that's, it's incredible. Saying that and knowing the job that you guys do, and especially Mr. McCormick, we can talk about emissions and we can talk about environment, we can talk about quality of life, we can talk about our children. But the thing about it that I can't reckon in my mind about this is honestly location. If this were located somewhere else outside of a high population area, we know that these things have to go somewhere. They just can't go in this county. This county's too small. It has too high of a population density, and because of that, because of our county being small, our airport is allowed to be big. And I know you have history in aviation, and I don't think that I'm speaking out of turn to say that the growth of our airport and the surrounding property, all of those pieces of property are not in a position that they need to be sold or given away cheap. That is prime property, and we know that, and we hear I have a little bit of a real estate background, where I've bought and sold some property, and in doing that, you find out that location. It's the 3 rules of real estate. It's the same thing with this airport. This airport is absolutely, I don't know who put it there, but they did the right thing when they did, because it puts us inside 3 urban sprawls, that of Atlanta, Huntsville, and Birmingham, and also Chattanooga. And in that, we can't allow this to starve us of opportunity. And that, like Mayor Snyder said, that opportunity may be 5 years from now. But I promise you, the person that takes my seat, whether it's 4 years from now or 8 years from now, and it promise you it's going to be somebody after that, because of term limit on myself, those people need to be able to carry on something that we gave them that is fit to carry on. And that airport is critical for us.
Well, that kind of leads to my next question. I know I came to the chamber 9 years ago last November, and I was, young and naive and believed impossible things could happen pretty quickly, and I still believe that. And I know we have talked about it for at least those 9 years, and I'm sure way before me, about the concept of having a countywide comprehensive and inclusive plan that not only outlines what Hoax Bluff wants for Hoax Bluff and what Southside wants for, that looks at us as a whole, looks at our regional resources and opportunities, looks at our existing infrastructure, the opportunities for upgrades to the infrastructure, our existing industry, our talent pool, and where we can recruit talent pool from, our resources like Gadsden State, and gives us a good, clear, visionary outline that takes into account all of our leadership, all of our constituents, that provides for town halls, for feedback. So, because the best ideas are not in this room, they're not.
That's right.
I've never believed the best ideas are in this room. They're out there. They're in these 8,000 people that are fired up and ready to participate. And so, always what I've heard is the obstacle is money. Those plans are extremely expensive. They're difficult. They're going to take a long time, and they take a high level of cooperation and a willingness to share information and to collaborate. And so we've got an incredible opportunity right now. We've seen, some changes in leadership. We've got some great leadership at the table that's been here with us for a while. If that resource were given to you, if money were removed, if that was no longer an obstacle, if the chamber is willing to step up and say, let us facilitate this for you, and could we all come to the table and get this done? Because when this issue is over, and I understand that we sent out our second round of surveys today before this meeting even started, about 5 o'clock. That survey, I think, went out around 3:30. Possibly even later. We already had 104 responses to it. There's an even greater level of opposition to this than when we surveyed toward the end of last year, when people were just finding out about this. If this issue is gone, and let's say for the sake of argument that this plant does not locate here, it is not going to locate here, I don't know that the problem is solved. Is it solved? Is that the problem? Or is the problem that we don't have a guiding plan that we all have had input on, that we all said, yes, this is what I want for Glencoe. That we are ideal for this kind of industrial plant. We have the workforce. We know how we can accommodate this. This is what we want in Rainbow City. This is a commercial development we're looking for in Southside. And it gives us all this plan so that we can work together, so that when you get the phone call from the business that doesn't fit you, you're like, you're not right for here, but I'm going to introduce you to Mayor Haref in Glencoe because he's got the perfect property, and we've got this plan. We all know that we're better together. We are. My favorite proverb is that African proverb: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And where do we want to go? Fast or far? Could we be that facilitator for you? Could we, and we're willing, we would love to, and could we do that together?
We have a comprehensive plan that we're actually talking about amending. And I didn't even know about it until I walked into the office and kind of found it. But we have a comprehensive plan that for Southside, it was 2005 when it was last amended, and it needs to be updated. And I think if anybody else has one or is doing one, I think that we could put all of those together and talk as a group, I think, about a comprehensive plan for the whole county. Because like you said, you could lay out what you want in Hopes Bluff and what we want in Southside and Rainbow City and Glencoe and Etowah and work together to come up with some kind of comprehensive plan. I believe that's possible.
Yeah, I hate to take the floor again, but
No, you don't.
No, I don't. Honestly, I don't. I think yes is the answer to that, but I think we have to get past the one thing that we all suffer from, and that's chronic selfishness. It's the reason we're all still strapped to this rock, and it's the reason we're not going to get off this thing alive. I think that it was outlined in the Garden of Eden, and I'm not trying to push religious belief on anyone, but I'll share this. And for us to step aside and to serve our fellow man, for us to do unto others, and we can go all through that book, and I promise you that book will serve us well in saying that until we get over our selfishness. And I believe that that's the root cause of this. This is not about and I know, look, now I know $75 to $90 million is a lot of money. I'm not that guy. But I will say, in the grand scheme of things, it's not enough. We should all have our number, and I think we do all have our number. But when you said better together, I think that's a term that I used not long ago in a speech that I gave. But I think it's also another thing that I heard throughout my career in the military was lead, follow, or get out of the way. That's our struggle right now, is that we have people that are trying to lead that need to get out of the way. We have people that are trying to follow that probably need to be leading, and then we have some folks that just need to get out of the way. And to do that, we have to be very unselfish. I knew that going into this office that I could create a monster in me. So how did I handle that? And this is not a bragging point. It's a point of humility, I had to first say that I would give my salary away so that I would keep myself in check. The second thing that I had to say was that I would put a term limit on myself, and I would allow the people that I serve to shorten that term limit to 4 years if that's what they see fit to do. And now we can all argue about when we go to the polls, but the truth is, in Rainbow City, if you don't believe in any other place or anything about the positivity and the strength of your vote, go to Rainbow City, where one vote, then 2 votes through an appeal process or a court process separated the desire of the people to have a certain person, whoever that person is. And I think that stepping back away from this and becoming unselfish in our own areas, which I'll be honest with you, this is the group of people that you want to serve within a county, because I know how he loves Hope's Bluff. That dude loves Hope's Bluff.
Amen.
And she loves Southside. And this guy has bled for Glencoe. And I'm the new kid on the block, and I'm telling you, I love Rainbow City. And that's not the backside of a coin. That's a fact. That's who I am, and that's who they are, and that's the only place that this will go anywhere, is for us to now begin that our second love would be Etowah County. Period. Can the chamber facilitate overlaying this county with so that we can see where our city center is going to be, where their water amphitheater is going to be? And I'm not giving an idea. I'm just whatever. But where Hope's Bluff, where Hope's Bluff.
Get this man a napkin and a pen.
Yes.
Come on, we're writing the plan right now.
Where Hope's Bluff can get out there and develop their waterfront, which is another Coosa City. And we all talk about, we have these incredible resources. We talk about our airport. We talk about our mountains. We scream about our river, and nothing gets done. Now, for us to get something done, we have to say to Scott, or to Mayor Reeves, I'm sorry about calling people.
I like Scott.
But we have to say to Scott, what are you going to do on that river? And when Scott goes to get the grant money that it takes for him, and we have to become unselfish and not say, well, we'd like to get our picnic tables refurbished. We need to go out there and refurbish our own daggum picnic tables and let Scott have the things that it's going to take for him to further his city and to fulfill that plan that you guys are willing to lay over. Now, we do know that we have to get back to money, and we know that it takes money. But I can tell you this, being part of this chamber, which Rainbow City is a member of, and I was so glad to hear of that, that's one of the things that we have to begin to engage again. And that's just how I feel. And I think that's the way the people that have put me here, they didn't have to tell me to feel this way. They didn't have to tell Scott to love his city, or Dana, or Chris. They didn't have to say that to him. They just love their daggum city. And I think that's the thing. We have to push that love out and begin to hug our county. And that may sound hokey, but I'm all right with it.
I think that
Joe talked about, let me say this right quick. Joe talked about the Coosa River, which I believe we all touch the Coosa River.
Touch it.
Okay, we all got something in common. There is something that these three right here might not even know of. I have been to the Neely Henry Lake Association meeting several times with Gene Pfeiffer, who I got great respect for. Him and my dad worked together at the steam plant, and Gene is well rehearsed on the Coosa River. We have a war that not a lot of people know about. Georgia is wanting to cut our water back, and we need somebody in our legislative side that can go to bat for us. If that happens and they cut our water back, that's detrimental to Etowah County. So that's another issue that sometimes, like he talked about, what do you think about the airport? Sometimes, I'll be honest with you, I don't think a whole lot about the airport. I used to go over and fly around in a Cessna every now and then, and I realized that when business opportunities, come from out of state, they go maybe fly into the airport, and it's an important tool or important part of our county. And I believe that, but I've never really thought a whole lot about it, how it would impact our county. But the river, you let Georgia cut the water off from us,
You're right.
we're going to suffer. We're going to suffer.
Yeah, the statewide water protection plan's gotta be in place or else we have no legal standing.
And Gene Pfeiffer said we have not updated our, what do you call it, some kind of water plan or whatever for Etowah County. And that's something else we need to look at. We need to not turn our back or, lose sight on what could happen with Georgia. Gwinnett County and all those counties around Atlanta that's growing so fast. What's the big lake up there in Atlanta? I can't remember. Lanier, yes. They're wanting to cut the water supply that comes down from there down to Coosa to us, and that'd be detrimental to Etowah County and our economic growth here in our county. So that's something else that we need to address.
And I think these multiple issues prove that we need to be fighting together. Not always fighting. They're just actually putting forth our plans. It's not always a fight. Yeah, that's right. Pooling our resources. If we can do it when a tornado hits Glencoe or when it hit Rainbow City, and the people that came down there and literally cleaned my area up where I lived, and did it without any fanfare. Yeah, we can do this. We can fight on multiple fronts.
And I've always, since we've had our meeting and Ms. Snyder was there, that's part of with the Mayor's Association. I think you would be a key element to come to our Mayor's Association and kind of present that with that plan that everybody in the west side of the county could be. They would have an avenue for what they want to do just as well as we do. That's just the time for 2021 for us to be all together on the same page, because we could all work together and get a lot more stuff accomplished. That's for sure.
Absolutely. I think, for several years we've probably gotten mired in some negativity. We get real comfortable on social media, putting situations down, putting our towns down, putting our people down. And I'm so hopeful that people are awake and engaged and interested and willing to do the work, that this can translate. Let's be honest, people wouldn't be this upset if they didn't love their home.
That's right.
And so while some may have fallen into some bad habits of putting down our home, let this be an opportunity for us to say that we are an incredible place. Right. We say this all the time. Where else can you have 5 cities where the river runs through it and you have such incredible mountains, you have incredible water, you have an incredible airport, we have resources just that other cities would die for. And so let's talk about the positives. Let's find ways to work together. I know this is the big issue at hand right now, but don't let this be the only issue at hand. We've got to look. Transformative change takes 20 years. Transformative change takes 20 years. If you don't believe that, look at the history of Chattanooga. And Chattanooga transformed in 20 years entirely. And it's a wonderful opportunity for us to collect the vision of who we want to be. And I'm not just talking about the people in this room. I want to know who you all want us to be, but we should all want to know who everybody out there wants us to be too, because that's the electorate. Those are the folks making the money, paying the tax bill, that makes the world go round here. So, do we have
I think it's my job and it's their job to prepare the next mayor of their cities. Mm-hmm. Now, for us to begin to say that, there's that, well, I want to be the mayor till I'm 100. Well, that may happen for you. But in that time, you need to have prepared the next guy. You got to, Moses, my servant's dead. You're dealing with Aaron now. We have to be finding that Aaron, and we have to be beginning to bring them along. And the way that we do that is through the actions that they can go back and find on this social media platform, that they can find in our speeches and in our actions and our minutes of our council meetings. We have to prepare the next mayor, the next councils, and we also have to prepare our people through positivity. You're not going to find a guy that's more positive than me. I believe everything's going to be okay. Now, we can all say, yeah, as long as we don't do this, I promise you, everything's gonna be okay. You know, I've seen some bad situations. This is a bad one. It's not the worst I've seen, you know, and in this, we just continue to fight steady and lean into it. And I just believe that. Let's prepare the next mayor, the next council, the next public works director. Let's prepare our next fire chief and our next, and we do that through leadership. But that leadership has to be sharp.
Positive.
Yes, and absolutely on point.
Well,
any questions you think that are?
So I will definitely say there's some comments. If you guys haven't spent the time, the opposition group has got a ton of research, a ton of links on Advanced Etowah. We've built out at least a few of those. I've still got a lot of work left there to do to try and help get people educated. I mean, it won't take but 3 minutes to look at the history of JBS and the parent company that's wanting to come in. So I'd encourage you guys, if you haven't already, look through. I mean, 7,000 people have dug through a lot of stuff. I know you can't believe everything you see on Facebook. Got it. But you know, there's actually some pretty good information, and I know of a number of folks that have put their own personal effort into driving out to other facilities, picking up the phone and calling communities and just talking to members of communities around those rendering plants. So a lot of that information is available. Anything this group can help you do to get you guys more informed, to help your city councils, anything, all you gotta do is ask, because there's definitely some warriors out there that are putting in the work and the labor. So to JBS, the one thing I want to make sure that we kind of talk about here, because this is really, it irks me a lot. They're running ads. You've seen Growing Gadsden, or maybe you haven't. If they have a Growing Gadsden thing, they've taken out ads in the newspaper, and it's particularly pertinent to the communities represented here. One ad they ran was specifically about how people outside of Gadsden were trying to influence the decisions made inside of Gadsden, which my opinion is, of course we are, because we're Etowah County and we're all neighbors. We're not that big. To that whole discussion that we just had about working together, you know, the idea of, you know, hey, I may pick on my little brother, but at the end of the day, if somebody else comes in here, you know, like, we got to stand together. So I guess closing with number one, have you guys seen or heard about kind of the propaganda that they're pushing? I mean, I'm trying to do it as without, you know, I mean, obviously I'm picking a side, but you in essence have a company coming in that is trying to intentionally drive wedges in our community, and dismiss people from, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, thoughts?
Of course I have a thought. I understand that they're a company and their job is to go out and provide a service and make profit. I don't hate these people. As a matter of fact, they're a non-event in my life, other than the fact that they've decided to come and invade my life. I believe that there's some very simplistic ways of looking at this company, and that is that they were afforded an opportunity to come into this area. They were evidently told that this was going to be a cakewalk, or they wouldn't have tried. I believe that about any company. Companies don't go where there's an incredible amount of opposition and resistance. I would just ask that they would go somewhere else. Now, that sounds like a very, like I say, simplistic answer, but it's the answer. They're not going to come here and be a welcome neighbor. Now, that's not to say that we're not welcoming people in this area. We're welcoming everyone that's coming in that's going to upgrade our county. You spoke about this being in Gadsden. I can promise you this, that the closest level of policing that they can get is going to come out of Rainbow City. It's so close I could hit a pitching wedge into the front yard out of Rainbow City into this proposed site. They can't say that there's a divide there. They haven't reached out to me. They know now that it wouldn't do any good, because my immediate thing is this is not good for Rainbow City, so you can't change my mind. So I do believe that I wish this company would see what they're doing. They believe that they can drive a wedge. They're creating a coalition. When you create a coalition, you're destined to fail. Now, long term, I don't know which way this thing goes. If I had that crystal ball, I'd be in Washington. I sure wouldn't be here. I'd be king of the world. But I promise you this, they've met opposition. There's no reason why a company would decide that they would go on a marketing campaign that's fast. I ran a little political campaign that I thought was pretty slick and savvy. This thing's a monster. Now, just go somewhere. Go somewhere where there's less resistance. I mean, the truth is, this opposition's not going away. It was my greatest fear when it started, was that it was going to wane. It hasn't waned. It's growing daily. This is I think they found their enemy, like Hagar said, and the enemy is themselves. They've got to go. It's just how I feel.
Any other thoughts? Do you have anything else?
I just wanted to express again how much I appreciate each of you and your willingness to serve. Public service is not easy, and I'm sure Mayor Reeves can share a couple of times where he's had to talk to some upset constituents or he's had to make some really difficult decisions. And I know you guys are early into your terms, but you probably I know you've already had those situations. You have a constant target on your back, and I guess to the audience, what I would say is, you draw more bees with honey. We've got 4 folks that were willing to sit down here tonight, and you've got 2 who have already passed resolutions. You've got 2 that are considering it. If you desire to reach out to Mayors Reeve and Reeves and Haref, be sure you're coming with honey. They have shown a willingness to sit and listen and to share, and that proves they've got a servant's heart. I'm not encouraging you to do so by any stretch of the imagination. But even in the future when you disagree, that's one thing that I have seen that I've been disheartened that I know what it feels like to be threatened and bullied, and I've been threatened and bullied by the best, and I'm a big girl and I can take it, and it's totally fine, but it's just not the right way. It's just not the right way. And so the same with Mayor Guyton and with the council. Civil conversation is always the best opportunity. I want to say that everybody that called me, texted me, emailed me, I sincerely appreciate, and I mean that, I sincerely appreciate the feedback. You have all been the ultimate of respectful, and have shared great information. You've been wonderful to talk to and converse with. So I want to say I appreciate you. I want to open the floor one more time. If there's anything, any parting, oh yeah, I've got one more event and I want y'all to know about it. Mayor Reeves, you got a lot going on in Oaks Bluff.
We are among the smallest of all the municipalities in Etowah County. I know Walnut Grove and Altoona is probably a little smaller than we are, but as far as Rainbow City, Southside, Glencoe, Tyler, Gadsden, we're among the smallest, and I'm really proud to serve our citizens. And I tell everybody, nothing against these guys, but we got the best citizens in all of Etowah County.
Well, it's evident that you each love your communities, you love Etowah County, and so we just want to thank you for being here tonight.
I do have one thing to say. I serve this city, Gadsden. We're in Gadsden. for 25 years. I love this city. I had a business inside this city for 35. I had other businesses inside this city for years and years. I love this place. I love this city. This city was my home. I was born in the Old Baptist Hospital across the street from the old Gaston High School, and this place has a special place in my life. And you know, I'm not lost in the fact that this is a tough time for this city council and this mayor. And I just appeal to them to understand that I'm not mad at them. I don't hate them. I just want better for our area. This is not just a Rainbow City issue or any of our individual issues. This is an issue about the sacrifice that we have to put forth right now will pay off in quality of life for us forever. And I do believe that. And I don't, I promise you I believe that.
I want to say one more thing. We just purchased a city app for Southside. It's the same company that created the Etowah County Sheriff's app. And so it's now available on at the Google Store and the Apple Store to be downloaded, City of Southside AL. We also have our ordinances codified now. They're online on Unicode. So you could go there and look at our ordinances. I just want to say this about our fire department. We have 2 firemen and a retired fireman. We have a total of 3 people who run calls every day, all day, and do a really good job.
All right.
Could I say one last thing?
Absolutely.
We hadn't talked, I guess, at all about this tonight, but you know, our cities and our towns and our communities, even our state, we faced some tough times the last few months. Getting close to a year now with COVID-19. I appreciate EMA here in Gadsden, the work they've done. I appreciate our first line responders, all our firemen, all our EMS. Mayor Snyder was talking about all of our firemen, EMS, nurses, doctors. They've done a phenomenal job. Me and my wife just had COVID and finally got negative test, and you know, it's real. I've had close friends that spent time in the hospital. I've had former coaches that went to the hospital, guys I played football with that went to the hospital with it, close friends that have passed. And please, you know, if you're out there and you're listening, wear your mask when you can't social distance. They got all of us separated apart here. Wear your mask, wash your hands, sanitize. You know, there's people out there that's at a high risk that has underlying conditions, and it's a tough time to live in. I just want to throw that out there before we dismiss. And I appreciate the people that's met this head on and done a great work.
The last thing I want to say is our council meetings in Glencoe is on the 2nd and the 4th Tuesdays, 6 o'clock. We pre-council at 5:30. Also, get involved with your communities. That's what we love to know, that people wants to get involved and volunteer and help us with some ideas. There's different things that goes on that people through my campaign also that said, hey, they would like to get involved with our city. Just get involved. It helps. You know, that's big. That's what all of us wants in our own cities, is people to be involved. Keeps us on our toes. I'll just be honest with you. That's what it does.
And that's where a lot of the ideas come from, like Heather said.
So we're I'm asking for that, you know, for the citizens. You know, get involved in Glencoe, Hopes Bluff, Rainbow City, Southside, Gadsden, Walnut Grove. Everybody that's involved can make a difference, and we all do it together. You know, he and I serve on some boards. You know, I think we can say we don't take credit for everything. We do it together.
That's right.
And that's what makes things work the best. So that's what I think. That's what worked for all of us in our communities.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of thank yous. So I will speak for the crowd. Thank y'all so much for spending the time to come again Like I said while we were muted in the beginning, this is kind of a non-standard request from a lot of citizens. But number one, thank you for acknowledging that 70, what are we up, 76, 70, 7,700 people on a Facebook group, in a county of around 100,000. Like, there's something relevant there. There's something going on, and I think you guys see that and see the worth and the value in coming and taking this time, and that's huge. So obviously we can't tackle all of the issues of Etowah County in 1 hour, or what are we at, 100 or an hour and 40 minutes. So hopefully we can figure out how to keep some of this conversation going. To your point, Mayor Haref, of getting involved, I think there's a lot of people through this whole rendering plant process that have all sat here and said, I knew that it could have been better. I probably should have I should have been paying more attention. If I know a guy like me that's been like, I want to get involved, it's not the right time. It's the right time. Because if it's not, then this is what happens. This is where we should, end up being. So thank y'all so much. Thank you guys on the interwebs. And hopefully, and I would encourage each of you, get in there with some of the other comments and stuff, maybe particular to some of these discussions. If you take 20 minutes in the next couple of days to just go and maybe answer some of those directly, I'm sure people would really appreciate some of that. But Jonathan, do you have anything else?
I've got nothing.
Okay. Well, guys, we're not 100% sure what the next big thing is, but we're working on it, whatever it is. And we'll get more information out as stuff goes by. So thanks so much, guys. Y'all have a wonderful Tuesday evening.